Hey, fight fans, we're back at the Apex. Not amazing news, but you know what? Still a lot of amazing fights. We have a top 10 featherweight matchup for our main event, and a lot of good fights thrown in there as well, sprinkled in. So let's give it a little dynamic breakdown. Let's talk about the people. Let's get their story, what's been up with them lately, and let's get hyped up. Let's prepare ourselves for another night at the Apex. Oh no. Oh yes, perhaps. You know what? Maybe you love the Apex. I don't know. Josh Emmett, who's known for his incredibly powerful hands, is going against a still rising star, Lerone Murphy, who doesn't have very many scratches, but a scratch on his record. It's going to be a showdown for sure. Our agenda, so you can properly prepare yourselves, we have a lot of debuts, okay? A couple here, a couple there. As mentioned, Apex. Shout out Romania. A lot of Romanian fighters. That's very cool. A little Romanian special. Not a lot of submittertons on this card. Not a lot of people who will be looking for the submission. We can always be proved wrong when the fights come to fruition, but historically, a lot of fighters who just not looking for it. But you know what they are looking for? A dance party. Yes, there is a suspicious amount of people on this card who love to dance. I know it's a human expression, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of people with some sick moves on this card. There really is. First up, we have got a women's strawweight bout. Vanessa Lil Monster Demopoulos going against Talita Problem Child Alencar. Okay, you see these versus cards, they're going to get progressively more insane as we go on. Some people, they don't have nicknames, as you're aware, so we had to get creative anyway. Vanessa Demopoulos, Little Monster, is from Ohio, and she was born to scrap. Okay, she got into fights as a kid, got kicked out of school, just couldn't shake that fighting spirit. Oh yes, she's on that decision grind, and that is kind of a reflection of that fighting spirit. She definitely is willing to bite down on that mouth guard and get it done. Former LFA champion actually lost the belt to Lupi Godinez, I believe 2020. That's an amazing fight. Okay, check that out. It's an amazing fight because you can really see Vanessa's heart. Ultimately, looked like she was going to get the win if it was a fight to the death. Okay, but it wasn't. So she knows how to turn that dial up. Okay, when she hits that adversity, we love to see that. Made her way into the Dana White's Contender Series and then had her UFC debut in 2021. Maybe you remember her iconic moment with Joe Rogan where she forces him to pick her up. I mean, he's down. It's pretty cute. You can tell she's a little starstruck. She loves Joe Rogan. Love that. She also loves koala bears. All right. And she definitely has that standing game, but is a BJJ black belt at heart. She's a submitterton at heart. And, throws in a couple of grappling competitions here and there on the side, keep that grappling fresh. She really has that heart. She really does. She has shown that she has got that dog in her. And she's going against Talita Alencar, problem child, not Jake Paul. Ew, okay, don't confuse them. Also a BJJ black belt, really into the ground attacks. So going for the clinch, then trying to get things on the ground, that's really where she wants to be. So they both have that submission accolade, but Talita actually really prefers to be there. That's where she's probably going to be wanting to take this fight, especially with, a little bit of that reach disadvantage for sure. This is her third UFC appearance. It's been 1-1 so far. Got a lot of heroes. All right, shout out to the other Brazilian legends, Damian Maia, Mayra Bueno Silva, what a character, and Pedro Munoz, just a couple of her heroes. And she's here to give you some daily inspiration, all right? She's got some good vibes, good energy, positive. Yes, she's going to be wanting to take it to the ground. Vanessa is going to be wanting to keep it standing. I think that Vanessa is going to get the win here. I feel like it's going to be via decision. Both of them have some really sharp submission protection, but Vanessa has really shown that dog. All right, she's shown that dog. She's ready to deal with the adversity, and I think that those later rounds will be in her favor. Round 2, round 3, yeah. Next, we have La Mangosta versus Pedrinho. Yes, Pedrinho, his wins are evenly split. He's an everyman. He can submit you, he can finish you anyway, and he can take it to decision. BJ Penn, definitely one of his heroes, and they work together. BJJ black belt. He's a really big grappling man. That's definitely where he likes to focus his fights. This is his third UFC appearance, and we are 1-1 so far. He is expecting a war against Mangosta, against his opponent Victor Henry. So mentally preparing for a decision of blood. Yes. Coming off of a decision loss of almost an entire year ago. Yes, April of 2024. Had to take some time. We're hoping Pedro is coming back in absolute full health. And he will be taking on Mangosta, the mongoose, Victor Henry. Adorable little picture of him with his dog there. Okay, Josh Barnett is his mentor, and he comes from a catch wrestling background. It's a lot like wrestling as you picture it, but apparently a little bit less restrictions. I don't really know a lot about that. He's been all over the place with different promotions, and he made his way to the UFC in 2021. He had a no contest fight be stopped because of a groin kick that was that bad. Oh my God. That is horrible. Just have to say, oof, okay? And he's coming off of a loss to Jourdain. All right, that's all right. Watch out for those body kicks, okay? Victor Henry, he keeps it really exciting, and those body kicks are landing. Yes, he's a combo kind of guy, which I really like. Not a lot of one punches at a time. Definitely walking forward, throwing 3 or 4. We love to see that. Watch out for that right hand. Yeah, he's a sweet guy, seemingly. He really appreciates being able to fight around the world. So another reason to get rid of the Apex. Okay, can we get this man global again? Yeah. We don't need to be hiding him in the basement of the Apex when he's ready to expand and appreciate world cultures. Okay. Anyway, that's kind of a tough one. Tough one to pick. Thinking that that one's going to be a decision as well. I'm thinking that Victor Henry is going to make it a war, and ultimately his output maybe a little bit greater and get the decision win that way. I think so. We're back. Women's strawweight. We're going Little Dolphin versus Kid Yankee. Loma Lookboonmee versus Istela Nunes. Neither of them had their own nicknames, so Loma Lookboonmee is historical. Yes, first ever Thai UFC fighter, which is interesting because, Thailand has such a history of fighting, but not necessarily a history with the UFC. Coming over from Invicta, shout out Invicta, we love them. She's been doing Muay Thai since age 7, which is amazing, and most of her strikes are definitely to the body and coming from clinching it up. Of course, we're going to be implementing that clinch. Yes. She's on that decision grind. So pushing the pace, ready to take it all the way to the end, and we are on a 3-fight win streak. And showing that Muay Thai grit has never been knocked out, all right? Yeah. So have yet to see that kind of scratch, and really rolling with some major momentum right now on a 3-fight win streak, okay? And she loves dolphins. Might be obsessed with dolphins, which is ultimately why she has earned the nickname Little Dolphin. And Little Dolphin will be going against Kid Yankee, who earned the Kid Yankee nickname from that adorable picture of her in the Yankees hat. Anyway, she's coming off of 2 KO losses, which is really tough, but it's important to note that one of those is an insanely dislocated elbow. Oh, okay, awful. Don't look that up. Yeah, she was actually supposed to fight Molly McCann over in UFC London 2 weekends ago, but they gave her the old switcheroo. She's coming from one championship over to the UFC, and she is definitely an active, very offensive fighter, and I love to see that. She's looking for that overhand right, looking for that left kick to the head, looking to keep it standing, has yet to win in the UFC. So we're coming off of those 2 losses, really trying to get some momentum. And fun fact about her, she's into barbecuing. She's a grill master. Great cook. Oh my gosh, the food that she is making looks so delicious. That picture of her with the knife is really funny. Just gotta say. Yes, grill master, training over an American Top Team. I have a feeling that this is going to be fireworks. That this fight is going to be absolutely explosive. I think that it could end with another TKO or KO loss on Nunes' side, but at the same time, okay, there's more at stake. So perhaps with there being more at stake and also coming back from injury, we will have a little bit of a different game plan, but I just expect a lot of offense all around. A lot of offense, a lot of clinch. This one will be, I suspect, violence. Fireworks and violence. Moving on to men's welterweight, we have Skeletor versus Tigano, Rhys McKee versus Daniel Frunza. Do you guys remember Rhys McKee? What an interesting personality. He went on an absolute suicide mission against Khamzat. Oh no. Yes. But you know what? That's in the past. Skeletor, 29, he has got a lot ahead of him, right? Still a young man, and he's already been in the UFC twice. Yes, he was in the UFC, went on a 2-fight losing streak. They said, sorry, that's all you get. And then he went on an amazing Cage Warriors run. I mean, snaps and claps, won the belt, right? Was looking amazing. Back to the UFC. And we're back to a 2-fight losing streak. Oh, no. So, really got to get it done. This man has 7 round 1 finishes. I mean, he's a finisher. He really is. He's actually never won via decision. He's coming off of 2 losses. Yes, as mentioned, the last fight that he had was against Chitty Bang Bang, who we just saw. Oh my gosh, he is incredible. And that was a really interesting war. Definitely a war. I feel like Rhys, he did all right out there, right? Okay, so he has it in him to take it to a war. Never been submitted, all right? Really interesting combo here. So never won via decision, never been submitted. He's a confident guy, but not in a cocky way, very chill. Grounded, seems pretty spiritually sound, and he is the owner of a small group personal fitness and boxing club. Okay, that is very cool. So check it out if that's what you're interested in. Check out his YouTube channel, he's a little content creator. Yes. So really a lot at stake for Rhys. Let's go, Rhys. There's a lot riding on this one. Against Daniel Frunza, okay, 30 years old, similar in age here, LFA, Dana White's Contender Series just back in September. So this is his UFC debut. A story of debuts on this card. He's on a 5-fight win streak, but as far as the competition that he's faced, he's still making his way. Gotta say, happy early birthday. He will be fighting just a week before his birthday. So at least he gets to get that over with so he can have some cake and not have to be cutting weight. Yes. All right. Both of these guys are finishers. This guy, nearly all of his wins are via KO, TKO, powerful hands, and he's got that ground and pound. Not really sure what to make of this one. Really pulling for Rhys, though, because there's just a lot more at stake there. Okay? Yeah. So let's cross those fingers. This one, though, is likely to end in a finish just looking at how both of their fights go, right? So we'll see. Next, we have a women's flyweight fight. The Warrior Princess is going up against the Witch. I love that, right? Come on, that is on paper. And by on paper, I mean the nicknames. That's a great matchup between Diana Belbita versus Dione Barbosa. Another Romanian. Hello, Diana Belbita, the Warrior Princess. She has a kickboxing background, been doing judo since she was 12, and Kempo gold medalist. Funny thing about Diana, maybe you've noticed, she's quite beautiful, and she had a bit of a reality TV stint, as many beautiful women find themselves in, so that's very funny. I think it was something where they lived on a farm. Anyway, this just cute stuff. Coming from KSW to the UFC, made her debut in 2019, which is not yesterday, that's for sure. But a lot of the competition that she has faced has not been really fierce, I would say. So a couple of people who aren't even in the UFC anymore. Uh-oh. Right. And we're coming off of a sub-loss to Molly McCann, who just retired. Molly McCann, though, she can really sneak in that armbar. And speaking of armbars, Diana has 4 armbar losses. Oh no. So a little susceptible there. 3 armbar wins, but okay, that's not really that much of a statistic because you kind of have to comb pretty back in the past to get to the 4 total. One of those losses was in 2011 or something. So okay, but it's just interesting that the armbar is potentially a curse. And she's going against Dione Barbosa, the Witch, BJJ judo black belt. So this is a judo off, okay? Or it could be. Top King Muay Thai, this is her 3rd UFC appearance, so still making our way. 1-1, both via decision. Some say that her last win, though, was a bit of a robbery, that it was a bit of poor judging. Let me know if you remember and what you think. I think perhaps so. Right now, she's coming off of a loss to Miranda Maverick, which, that's no shame, absolute dog. And she came into that fight short notice, so definitely still a lot to see as far as like the full Dione. Yeah. She's got a lot of elbow creativity though. Love to see that. Super creative with the strike, super brave with just going for it. Most of her wins are from decision, and we got a little bit of subs thrown in there, but she has never won by TKO or KO yet. So, yeah. This is another one that I'm kind of, not sure what to think of it, especially since both ladies haven't faced a lot of familiar competition, both definitely making their way, even though Diana has been in the UFC since 2019. Still a lot of more straw weights to be tested with. Yeah, so curious about this one. We'll see. Could be a banger. Next, we have a really fun men's bantamweight battle between Davey Dangerous Grant and Daniel Willycat or Willycat Santos. Yes. Davey Dangerous Grant, you know him. Maybe he could have been on the London card. I don't know why he wasn't. He's a sweetie. UFC debut way back in the day, 2013. Okay, it's not. Anyway, tough 18. That's just so great. Another BJJ black belt, also a kickboxing black belt. I wanted to put the little significance strikes by target graphic just up in the corner there to really demonstrate how much this man mixes it up and how much he really targets the body. He's after it. He's after your tummy. He's living in the moment though, okay? You know what? He's having a laugh, loves his family, loves living in the moment. He's bringing really good energy. He really is. And he is one subby submarine. 60% of his wins are by submission, and if you really dig into that, you can see he's a big fan of the triangle choke, and in general, he just loves choking. Yeah. He is very diverse, crazy diversity in that strikes, and he's coming off a decision win, 39 years old, so, we're getting there. We're getting there, but we are still dangerous. And he is going against Daniel Santos, who I am pretty hyped to see more from. Okay. He is under Diego Lima, and he's a ground striking, spinning spinner who's also in the crypto life. Right. He's on a 2-fight win streak right now, and he has never been finished, but we haven't seen him since 2023. So we had a bit of a stint. And if you would like to know, he has a very adorable dog tattooed on him. I don't know, whenever, I feel like when I see people with men specifically with tattoos of their dogs, I usually think of a pit bull or some, conventionally masculine animal, and it is the cutest dog ever, and it is the best tattoo ever, and I'm loving it. This fight is going to be full of silly shenanigans. It's going to be full of spinning, whipping around, turning our backs. It's going to be really fun. I think it's going to be really fun. I think it's just going to have so much diversity. I hope for that. I hope that we get to see the diverse arsenal that both of these men have, and I am just really excited to see more from Daniel Santos, who we don't know very well. We made it to our featured prelim, men's flyweight, the Jamaican sensation versus Grimm. Ode Osbourne versus Luis Gurule. I told you these versus cards were going to get progressively more strange, and here we are. Ode Osbourne, the Jamaican sensation, you know him for sure. He has put on some very exciting fights very fast. I mean, we're flyweights, so we're moving quickly. We are moving quickly. We are in and out. I can't see all of what's going on. It's too fast. He's a silly, funny guy. He makes a lot of cute skits, and he is one of the people on this card who loves to dance and is quite good at it as well. That's true. He's a headhunter, also very good on his back, so gets taken down here and there, but always manages to do a lot of work. Kevin Holland style. We're throwing in those elbows from the back. He's very fast, crazy swinging punches that can kind of get him into trouble. Kind of get him into that knockout zone when you're swinging it out, we get a little risky, okay? Coming off of a 3-fight losing streak, so sometimes the risks, they get you. This man is a chef. He is chefing it up in his free time. This man has a very interesting piece of family history. I would like to share with you his grandfather Sugar Belly, who invented the bamboo saxophone. Okay. So no wonder this man loves to dance and is so good at it. He comes from a musical family.
This is a motor car horn, cardboard, and piece of plastic tape.
So, if you didn't know, Ode Osbourne comes from musical royalty, and that is just so cool. Wow, the things you can do. The things that you can invent if you're a genius. And Ode is going against Luis Grim Gurule. Grim. I perhaps wonder if he means that Grim from Billy and Mandy. Maybe. He's 31, so that wouldn't be too far-fetched. Anyway, another debut. Undefeated. So, haven't seen too much adversity, of course, because he hasn't lost. He's a headhunter. Definitely what he's going to be looking for. Head strikes all around, trying to get you down, trying to finish you. Yeah. He prefers to be the dog, which is interesting because as an undefeated, most of the times people aren't going to consider you the dog there, so maybe looking for a little adversity. He's a mosh pit kind of guy, all right? He really loves that lifestyle, and he has that power in the cage too. Ground and pound 101. Looking very mosh pit out there. Beautiful picture of him and his wife, McKay. So cute. Love that. This will be interesting. This is tough. Not necessarily comfortable picking Ode for a win here, given the shaky streak that he has had. But we don't really know what Luis is capable of. So this will be a fight to collect data. To collect some data on Luis and welcome him to the UFC. Let's see how it goes. Main event. We made it. For our main event, we are opening up with some middleweights. The Punisher versus Robzilla. Okay. Robzilla, Godzilla, who's a robber. You get what I mean. Torrence, the Punisher, Finney. This is his debut. More debuts. Okay, you know what? This man had to go on Dana White's Contender Series and win 3 times. 3 times. 3 times. And Dana White was like, sorry. What is this? The Wild West is what it is. Anywho, he's got a wrestling foundation, so a little bit loosey-goosey with the strikes sometimes, which is, I think, why they had him go on 3 times to prove himself, because the strikes maybe needed a little bit of work. 70% of those wins are coming via KO, though. This guy's a unit, all right? He's a little shorter for the middleweight division, so he's thick. He's very, very thick. He also loves to dance. It does not end. The dancers keep coming. He's definitely got some moves, but he also has some massive looping punches. So, yeah, that's something. Something to be aware of. Something to see. And he is going against Robert Valentin, Robzilla, 29 years old, tough 32. This is only his second UFC appearance, so these guys are perfect for each other. They're both making their way, and they have very similar records. I mean, Robert's got a little bit more there, but he's also a finisher. These are 2 finishers. 7 first-round finishes, except it's not just with the power of the hands. It's also with some submissions. So he wants to hit you, get you down, choke you out. But the problem, potentially, with Robzilla, Robbie the Robber, is that he takes a lot of damage to diss that damage. He's getting in there and he's getting blasted on. A lot of strikes are absorbed. So if things do push their way to decision, that's not necessarily his wheelhouse, because he just absorbs so much in trying to get that finish. And he also loves to dance. Okay, I need to see a dance-off between these 2 guys. We got 2 guys who love to dance, and it would be a banger. That would be a banger of a battle. The dance-off. Okay, there's this really, I don't know, not the UFC, of course, but in a different promotion, he was smoking in the walkout, like someone handed him, and he gives a little puff. So, you know, just a little peek into his personality. He's a silly guy for sure. He's a silly guy. Silly guy, confident guy. John Jones is his favorite fighter, so again, that tells you a little bit about what he's aiming for in terms of his style and looking for that violence, looking for that finish. He has some carpentry skills, so he can build you a house if you need. And he likes to eat. Eating are his hobby. He's a little bit of a solo dolo kind of guy. Loves his snacks. 2 guys, heavy power, looking for the finish. Who's going to get it? I think this is a question of who's going to get the finish or who's going to get more tired. Of course. So, classic. But I do suspect this one will end before the rounds are over. And if it doesn't, both of them will be showing some extreme signs of fatigue. Next up, another middleweight scrapper. We have Brad Kaipo Travares versus Gerald GM3 Meerschaert. Brad doesn't have a nickname, so gave it to him. Brad is a former Bama champ, and he is a UFC veteran. He made his debut in 2010 as a very young man. He's absolute veteran. I mean, tough 11. Most bouts in the UFC middleweight division history, okay? So in terms of middleweight territory, this guy's been there. He has the most fight time in the UFC middleweight division history as well. It's over 5 hours, nearly 5.5 hours, and he has the most decision wins in the middleweight division as well. Wow. So Brad has done a lot. He's done a lot, he's won our hearts, and all the while has never been submitted. Yeah, this is a decision win kind of guy, but he definitely has the power to knock you and rock you around and make you look bad. He's really ready for war. Shout out Hawaii. What a beautiful place that I hope to visit. He's a God-fearing family man, all right? Lifted trucks, gaming, spearfishing, family, you know how it is. And he's obsessed with that cold plunge. Ew, I never want to do a cold plunge. That sounds awful. Anyway, coming off of 2 losses, and we are 1-4 in the last 5, so yeah, we know 37, really long career. Maybe we're heading toward the end, or maybe we're just needing to pick up a little steam. And he's going to be trying to steam against Gerald Meerschaert. You know him, GM3, BJJ black belt. He's also a black belt in kickboxing. Hence, he's a freestyle fighter. Bit of a goofball, you know the signature mustache. Shout out Milwaukee, of which he has recently returned to, and working again with Bilal Muhammad, a little Midwest reunion, because you know Milwaukee's not that far from Chicago. This guy is a submitterton, 80% of his wins, but also 50% of his losses are from submissions. So, you know, we got some submission curses, but he'll definitely trick you. He'll trick you into getting submitted. You know, he had a crazy upset win against Edmund Shabazian. It was a crazy comeback. Edmund thought he was going to finish him, and then it didn't work out. He got tired and trapped into a submission himself. So many of his fights have a story of submission, win or lose. So Gerald's coming off of a sub-loss to RDR, which, unfortunate, but it was a really good fight up until then. He was looking very good. Brad has had a lot of adversity recently, so this one is not a comfortable one to pick. Next, we're getting big. We're rolling with the heavyweights. We have the African Savage versus Badis, which I looked up what that nickname means, and I got some pictures of babies. So, Kennedy Nezachekwu, the African Savage, the Lion. He is 32, Dana White's Contender Series ×2. You know how it is. Onto the UFC, currently riding on a 2-fight win streak, and he's been gaining some UFC experience in general. Mostly wins via TKO KO. Headhunter for sure. Looking to walk you down, looking to pick your head apart. He's a performance of the night type guy for sure. He really brings the energy, really brings the volume in that strikes. We like to see that with our heavyweights. We like to see that. He's bounced between weight classes, but athletic at that heavyweight division. He's got some really solid takedown defense, and I think that's coming largely from having a wrestling background. So you can shoot, but he'll sprawl. And he wants to stand, even though he has that wrestling background. Gets pretty leggy with it, and like I said, he really wants to walk you down. He wants to unleash a couple of combos on you. Not really a one punch at a time kind of guy when you really get him going. And he's coming off of a performance of the night win. Some really great momentum heading into this. Going against Martin Bode, the Slovakian. Hello, all right. Coming off of a split win against Arvlovsky, which is a bit of an oof, if you ask me. It's a little bit of an oof. He's a Kimura guy, so he'll definitely be looking for that, I think, trying to close the distance there, get him on the ground, BJJ black belt. He really can win in every way, but he prefers to finish it out. Yeah, and he's got a lot of knees everywhere, backed up against the fence, especially is where he's going to unleash himself. And this guy's a biggie boy. He has to cut weight to make heavyweight. Big man in there. I'm thinking that Kennedy is going to get this one, going to push the pace, land more strikes, just do a little more. He's an active guy. Then we're going back to men's bantamweight. We have Cortavious, Are You Not Entertained? Romious versus Changho Lee, the Hungry Caterpillar. Cortavious, look at that smile. What a sweetie. Are you not entertained? LFA to UFC. He is a submitterton. Half of his wins are by submission, and he really likes that armbar, wants to rip your arm off, destroy that limb. Very good with the takedown defense, of course, as a submitter himself. Coming off of a loss, but he's always smiling. Also likes the Joker, though, so hopefully it's a good kind of smile. He really wants to face his fears. That's what he's all about. And he's off social media, so maybe that's one of the fears. He's off social media. We don't know what he's been up to. But hopefully he's getting zenned out in there. He is going against Changho Lee, from one champion over to UFC. He is very accurate with those strikes. He's absolutely after the body. Half of his strikes are from the clinch. And you know what? Interesting man. He dropped out of college to fight. He's never been finished. And he's riding on a 4-fight win streak with 4 knockouts. It is looking good. It is looking good for Changho Lee. This one should definitely be a scrapperoo. Excited to see that clinch work. I think that it's possible that Changho gets it done. I don't know. Is it going to be a finish? I'd say that these guys are a really even match for each other. Next, we have our co-main event, Smealodon versus Tubaro. Yes, Pat Sabatini versus Joanderson Brito. We got a featherweight main event and a featherweight co-main event. It's some featherweight flair. Pat Sabatini, Smealodon, he is a former CFFC featherweight champion, made his way to the UFC in 2021. He is a headhunter because he's really looking to unleash those ground strikes on you, try to work his way into a submission. He's always looking for that level change, okay? You're going to see Patty doing that level change dance. You know how it is, looking for the level change. And that's supposed to say that a majority of his wins are via submission and decision, a little more on the submission side for Patty, because, he's got that BJJ black belt that he's looking to unleash on you. It's really interesting that a majority of his strikes are on the ground, though. Seriously, that's where he's comfortable. Ground and pound is where he loves to be. That is so Philly. That is so Philly of Pat. Loves the outdoors. He loves fishing. And he is going against Joanderson Brito, another submitterton, who is really into kicking that leg, who prefers to finish things quickly, though. I guess that's the difference between Joe and Pat is Pat is good taking it to decision, maybe a little more comfortable there, whereas Joe pretty much exclusively wants to get this thing finished before the fight is over. 10 of those 17 wins are actually in the first round. Yikes, guillotine. So a little decision loss susceptible for Joanderson. And fun little, silly thing about Joe is he was just in Milky Zael's corner last weekend. So that's fun. This will be a really fun, scrappy match between two submittertons, one of which, Pat, has never been finished via submission, but Joanderson has got some, he's got some creative things in that arsenal. So I don't know who to pick for this one. I think that, since Joe is a little bit more decision susceptible, if it makes it all the way there, that maybe it's a little bit more in favor of Pat, but Pat is riding a little bit less momentum right now. This one will be very exciting because we got another fight with a lot of weird stuff. Main event, Josh C.C.O. Emmett versus Lerone the Miracle Murphy. Josh Emmett, you know him, C.C.O., One Punch Man, UFC debut back in 2016 as a fill-in, so that's fun. His reputation is that of strength all around. Durability and strength in those hands. I mean, he has heavy hands, often a little wild, often a little reckless, often a little bit of looping, a little massive looping punches there, but it's all okay because he is the KO one punch man. Wow. He is actually coming off of a KO one punch execution against Bryce Mitchell. I mean, might have taken one of his 9 lives there. That was kind of a while ago. It's been a little over a year since we've seen him. But Josh Emmett, something to know about him. He's comfortable in the decision, even though he can get that KO win. Was riding a 5-fight win streak before the Ilya/Yair loss. So was doing more than amazing up until then. Yeah. So another important thing, though, about that is he actually went the distance with Topuria. And, Topuria has a reputation for being a finisher himself. So that's a testament to Josh's durability. But a challenge to that durability is he was finished by Yair. So, but you know what? Ilya and Yair, that is some fierce, absolutely fierce competition. So if those are his latest scratches on his record, I think we can live with that. But we're 40 years old. Josh, we're getting there. And he is going against the miracle Lerone Murphy, who actually almost died. That's why the miracle is his name. He was attacked. He survived. Miracle, indeed. He's a striker through and through. So these are 2 strikers. 2 people who are going to be looking to keep this baby on the feet. FCC featherweight champion. This guy is not a submitter. Not a submitter. So lots of strikers on this card. Lots of people looking to elbow and clinch it out. Not looking to sub it out. But he's also never been subbed. So that's kind of funny. That's a bit silly. But because he's more of a striker, he is pretty susceptible to getting taken down. But he's pretty scrappy to get back up. It's definitely what we've noticed. And he is 15 fights undefeated, so just 1 draw against Zubaria in 2019, and he was the biggest dog on that card. Nobody expected Murphy to take it there. He really likes inspirational quotes as well, so if you need some inspiration, you can ask him. The main event is definitely what I'm most looking forward to. There's not a lot of big name matchups, so I mean, definitely lots to be excited for, but in terms of implications, the only major implications that we have on this card is number 15 spot in the heavyweight division, and then in our main event, battling for a little switch in the top 10. So, yeah. I do think that will be a crazy, violent, striking match. I think somebody is going to go down. I know it's not recommended to put your heart in the older fighter. Okay, again, not betting for real, just spiritually. But I really think Josh Emmett is a fun, interesting guy, and I'd like to see him get that win, and I think he's going to do it. And that would be a pretty incredible outcome if he were to scratch Lerone Murphy's undefeated record and get it with a finish. Let me know which fight you're most looking forward to and who you have picked for the main event, or who you have picked for whichever fight you're most looking forward to. Cool.